either London in the morning. This is UTC +1, so that's my time. UTC, just UTC, I think it's GMT, so that would be London time. 1 hour. No, London is UTC +2 then. Am I right? But anyways, in the morning, it's a good session. 8-9 o'clock. Then morning US, which here is 14:30 would be New York. 14:30, so that would be here. Crazy price action, pump up, then complete crash down, and 15:30 would be
Stop filled.
Chicago Open. So what happened with my trade? I think not much. Oh, I have a break even, I think. Okay. I think it hit my break even. Yeah. Okay, well, it's better than a loss, but so yeah, 15:30 is the Chicago. That's really the futures time. Um, so that's usually even crazier, but you could trade at 14:30 as well. That's yeah, that's New York Open. But I you see how absurd this is. You usually what you want to do. There are multiple strategies, but for day trading, um, you kind of want to either hop on a good trend, and it depends on what time frame you're looking. You could say this is a trend, obviously, right? Even if you go a bit higher time frame, this is 5 minutes. It There's obviously a trend, but these moves are so large. I would say this is mostly just ranging. From here on, it started to become a trend. But then again, these moves are so insane. On a day trading level, your bias should be up because it's constantly breaking levels, and yes, it completely then comes back into that range, but then it goes out of it, and again here you had a level. It broke that back all the way to here. So overall, your bias should be up, should be bullish, but as you can see, it's not a healthy normal trend that you should like to see. On this one, I don't even have any EMAs, so I might put it in on some other version of this chart. I think I have it on the futures ones, but when you have moves like this, like this was more than 100 points, I mean 120 points, but it doesn't just retrace and then continue. It almost entirely reverses that same move. Here, 97 points. So it almost completely. With that type of price action, it's a bit difficult to hop on a clean trend, right? You don't really have 50 EMA to 20 EMA. Maybe you draw a breakout level, right? Like a zone, and then once it breaks out, you wait for a retracement to the EMA or something and that zone, and then maybe you can find something like that, but often you get here these insane wicks, so it's a bit trickier. So then I prefer trading levels or ranges. Each candle is also a range here. This is 22 range, which is a little bit more than 5 points. I think I got it from Matt. If you Google on YouTube, Topstep Trader. What is it? He also does Topstep trading, but I think it trades by Matt. So yeah, each candle is also a range. So it only completes it when that amount of range is done. In this case, a little bit more than 5 points. So if nothing happens, this could go on hours long. It doesn't usually do it, but if you have like around holidays or something, yeah, there could be a very small chart, or I mean very few that's Topstep email. They're really good customer service, by the way. Topstep, I can really recommend them. And when something goes wrong beyond your fault, they are really lenient as well, even if it's sort of your fault. But maybe there was some issue with the platform as well. Now it's also weird, but that's probably my computer with the streaming, and this is yeah, a bit heavy. But yeah, if it's within reason, they will be lenient. So there was some other issue even with pretty much the whole platform. I think it wasn't with them. I think it was Trade of Eight itself, and they sent an email that everybody could do a free reset if they wanted to, regardless of where they were. Maybe they had a good day, but their account was already down. Still, you just got a free reset if you wanted to. So it's a really good company. There are only, in my opinion, only maybe 2 or 3 companies you should trust, like in the funded. Let's see if we can get it moved down, but I'm actually I'm not entirely sure actually. It's
Order filled.
it's so wiki, this and with this strong move, probably should have waited till it retraces more. I'm kind of expected to test this area here, but yeah, we may not get that. I have a see. There's a lot of wicks, but with this type of crazy price action, that doesn't even have to say much, because it could still just yeah, I don't like this. I really don't like this. I'm taking that tiny profit,
Order filled.
because I just don't like it. You see, on one end, this is well, major. It's it is a high, so it's not that major at this point, but still, it's pretty strong level, right? I mean, look at this massive move. Yet it's closing on both sides. You see, so I'm actually slightly more long at this point. You could draw a channel, but I think you can see it with the naked eye, right? At this point, it's not even a channel anymore, more like a megaphone. But what do we do? And I think it's not, well, maybe sort of parallel, but I think it's more like a megaphone, right? Um, so it looks like it could break out yet again. So that's why I don't like that short that I that I tried. It only worked because it's so wiki. You see, it went, well. It's probably too small to see, but you see this red candle. This is a red candle. Yet it closed almost at its high, and it's a doji. So yeah, it's really crazy price action. You kind of want to you kind of I can make this larger. You basically want to get into these type of moves, right? Where it breaks out, it comes back, and then test the level. Well, and this was a tricky one. You probably on a scalping level, what I tend to do, you would have gotten a small move here. But the small move is still maybe 15 points or so. Okay, no, more like 10 points or so, 10, 30 points. Yeah, or you would have maybe got wicked out. I don't know if you had a tight stop loss. But if you have a broader stop loss, maybe you could have cut on something, but this could have been a loss. So you look at the next level. It could be here, could be here. This whole zone, basically. That's why sometimes there are these zones. Basically, where you see a fight and then a big move. Some call it supply and demand, and this case would be demand, right? Because it's buying. So this whole thing is a zone. You kind of want with crazy price action. You kind of want to savor entries, a bit larger stop losses, so small positions, and just wait till it goes back to an area like this, and then just have your stop loss underneath this. And if it doesn't even get us that far, like here, maybe you quickly move it underneath this wick. And then when you get some price action, and then you zoom in. That's why you could do it on this, but that's why I like these charts. Like maybe on the range chart, you can see more smaller time frame price action, and not based on times, but based on actual moves, actual buying and selling. And then trail your stop loss or something, because yeah, it's pretty hectic to get into these trades and not get wrecked. I did a little bit of trading, but very conservatively because of this crazy price action. I think when we have some more viewers, I will try to take off from work during the afternoon and trade, so I can trade the New York and the Chicago Open, like 14:30, 15:30, and then maybe till an hour later, 16:30 or something. See, broke out. So really, this was the move to make, but I realized it a little bit too late. I was still looking at these rejections here, but yeah, you have to pay attention to the overall move as well, and this level, it was starting to bounce off of this. So yeah, once I realized that, I took off the short, because I don't yeah, I don't want to scale into those type of trades. There's some time for scaling in, but when there's a good chance, when you see price action starts to reverse, you can better either take no trade at all, or go in on a good level of whatever recent trend is. In this case, it's also the overall trend, but that isn't even that relevant in this case. Because you'll also have it in the other direction, right? When this starts to happen, you have to kind of forget this trend as well, and just trade it down to the next level, maybe this level, maybe this. I also have a fib here, but it's a little less relevant. I kind of like, it's hard to see what did I have. I think I made the fib on the 15. So yeah, I did it only based on this move. This was the most recent move, and it did come back perfectly to the 618 the first time. So after this move, came back to the 618 perfectly. So these are kind of like the trades, and you see sometimes they go all the way here. So yeah, you have to think if you like a stop loss that's this wide. If you do that, maybe try to get an entry later, so you have a smaller stop loss, or do two entries with a tighter stop loss. One entry around here, and if that fails, you see how it reacts here. if it's like really sinking and closing bearish, or if it's wicking, then you do another entry, and then you can make nice moves like that. And yeah, then it stayed. It came back, not really hitting a level, but then it's after that second move, it stayed above the 236. It's not really level I tend to trade, but that's why I'm now a bit more bullish again. Sometimes they try to reverse these type of actions, and they did here, so you always have to be adaptive. I think in general with trading, but to be fair, with indices, it's really important that you don't have too strong of a bias. The only bias that you should probably have is like the daily one. Like if the daily, and that's most of the time, of course, because it's an index, and most of the time that's bullish. But you have some periods, of course, where you have massive dumps like this, and then your bias should shift. Like all of these days, your bias should generally be bearish, right? But then you start to hit this level, and you have to be careful and just look at what happens. If you saw the same thing that we saw, that things are bouncing and you have zones, well, then you can get massive moves up, even in this down move. So in very broad sense, you should have bias, maybe based on the daily. But then, yeah, when you're day trading, really your only bias should be the price action of the last couple days, in the last couple hours, and see what levels are being broken and what is the price action, what is holding and what isn't. And if nothing is holding, like here, I either don't trade at all or make these small scalps, from one standard deviation. This is standard deviation VWAP, and you have other things. I've seen people trade just linear standard deviations. I think in Thinkorswim you have option like that, but I don't know if Trade of 8 has that. But yeah, price action too weird, but it is respecting standard deviations like VWAP, and you start to see things rounding out. You could sometimes take them blindly, especially if they line up with some volume node, for example, right? But most of the time you probably want a little confirmation, and once you start to see things rounding and it is on a level, price level, volume level, standard deviation level, and it starts to round out, then you can trade it to the next level, for example. And then you want to be careful there. It could have dumped there, so maybe take profit. But yeah, from there it depends on your strategy. This again, normally strong action like this, it would just test, maybe wick, and then continue. But as you see with this type of price action, you cannot really count on that. It could do anything. It could completely dump now. So ES already did, even more so. So I'm actually looking for a reversal up a little bit. We already have it there. Maybe not. I want to scale in a bit, so maybe one. But
order filled.
Here's a volume node as well, and beyond that we're not going to scale in, because then our ID is invalidated. But it is going up, so that's nice. If Nasdaq pushes past this, but I don't want to risk that. Yeah, it could crash here if Nasdaq also crashes. No, come on. Yeah, let's sculpt this out,
Order filled.
because this is not clean price action. It was a bit early because it did wick out first, so it gave me the idea that it was stopping people out. Let's do one more. It's not entirely what my plan was. It's so slow, my computer. What? I thought this is a bit weird.
Order filled.
I just want it. Nasdaq is holding on this volume, but yeah, I don't like this. It just bounced off, like it barely missed. It almost hit my target. Yeah, but yeah, that was a risky one. I should have put my stop loss underneath this. And I still don't see it bouncing a lot. But it's weird that it did this one pump and then completely dumped. You would have thought either a bigger move into this major level, or if it's weaker, then you wouldn't expect such a strong pump. You would have expected to go down and then maybe retrace to this level and then continue. But yeah, I just am now. Yeah, this should now break.
Order filled.
If this now breaks, then we can sweep up. But it's still not clear that it's going to do that. So I'm still very skittish. Let's take one off earlier. Come on, guys. Yeah, it is, but more confidence. Come on, guys. I want to see this at least go here, but ES is not following much. That's annoying. So yeah, I'm gonna close this. I don't like this.
Order filled.
I'm pretty sure right after I close it, it's gonna pump.
Order filled.
I just don't like this. It's so frustrating. And here, I should have done Nasdaq, cause yeah, and now it's going. This is those times where they're still kinda doing the same thing, but here we have a massive divergence. From here on, you see on the other chart my cursor, right? From here on, Nasdaq was pumping. Yes, sort of. But then from this point on, Nasdaq was still pumping, and yes, somehow completely dumped. While Nasdaq was just retracing probably 50% or so, Nasdaq's of S&P just completely dumped. let's. I always check in the morning, and there wasn't a major release for all accounts. But was there something else? See, it dumped further, but I still, and there's also some diversion. I'm still somewhat positive that this is going to pump back up, but I just didn't want more drawdown. See? But yeah, sometimes you have that one of them is somehow much weaker than the other. While overall the move is still somewhat the same, right? But yeah, I don't like with Trader Fade the very limited colors that you can select, because I kind of want this to be more faint so I can see it in the background. I may actually am I even logged in? I think so. But this chart is not a setup, or this is not a saved layout. I might put a volume profile here. I have it on one of my layouts, because this really, now I have to choose see a lot less of the chart by moving it to the side, or have difficulty watching the price action and the price. I'm not even sure if you can change the color of the, like here you can change it, right, on TradingView. I'm complaining now, but I like Trader Fade and a lot of things. I kind of like Ninja Trader as well. I wasn't sure, but if I should choose that one. But the downside is when you get funded, some of these platforms are still free, and Trader Fade is still free. But Ninja Trader, you need to log in, and and by them you need to pay. There's I think one subscription model and one just lifetime. So yeah, I might do it in the future, but for now I think it's fine. But if you go to colors, and I think it's with anything you do, you go to colors here. These are the only colors you can choose. So something is a little too dark or a little too bright, there's usually only one lighter or one darker version you can choose, and then it's over. Then yeah, so that's a little bit annoying, but I like it overall. It's just you have to be creative a little bit, and that's why I definitely prefer having some TradingView charts as well. And by the way, now I don't have it, but when I traded a bit earlier on my laptop when I was on the go, and then I had my tablet. So just TradingView on your tablet, I really like that. That's just a second monitor basically. You basically have something like this if you rotate this maybe. But yeah, I always think you should have at least one, either other monitor or another device or something, to have a market overview of what you're trading. And you could have more, but I'm not doing a lot with fundamentals, so you could have other stuff. You could have news, you could have other markets. But yeah, right now when I'm specifically doing futures, I'm mostly just focusing on one or two products, one or two instruments, just different time frames and slightly different setup with drawings or indicators. I might cut the stream here. It's Friday, and we'll have another stream in an hour or so. I'll do a short stream for crypto, and I just don't see anything here. We were right, but I don't like the amount of drawdown I needed. It did come back all the way. Yeah, I think I'm gonna cut the stream here because this isn't going anywhere. But yeah, post questions because I'm sometimes just rambling. I don't know what you guys actually want to see and already know other than crypto. So yeah, post questions if you have them, and catch you later.